Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you have logged in to watch this video. Welcome to Data Science A to Z episode 3 in correspondence to Tamil Boomi Technologies. Now, in the last episode, we had a brief overview of social media analytics, and then we left it at what is social media analytics with respect to text analytics, right? Now, in this session, as we usually do, we'll start off with one of a very small story. This is something that happened to me a couple of months back, right? So, a couple of months back, I bought a mobile from Amazon, and I was not really happy with the services that Amazon had provided me. So, what I did is I wrote a review on Amazon's page saying that I'm not very satisfied. I wrote a very lengthy review saying that what all were the issues I faced and what might have done, what Amazon might have done better to make the experience to make the experience better for me, right? So after I wrote such a lengthy review, one of my friends he was telling me, why am I writing such a big review? Nobody will read it and all, and it'll go to waste. I'm simply wasting my time and whatnot. So you know what I told him? I'll tell you what I told him. What I said is that these online reviews, which are coming directly from customers, they are one of the most valuable assets to a company. That is because in this way, the companies are directly engaging with the customers, taking their feedback, taking their reviews. And the fact that he was saying that these reviews are not read, they are not even taken care of by the companies, that's absolutely not correct. These reviews and these feedbacks, they are one of the most important sources of information for a company. Now, what happens to these reviews? How do the companies they use these reviews and to make their organization even better, right? Let's move on to the next slide and we'll see what happens. Now, the reviews form a part of text analytics. Reviews come in the form of text, and they are analyzed by the companies to gain a lot of insights. Now, why do the companies engage in text analytics? First and foremost reason is there is an explosion of unstructured data, and textual data is a very important part of the unstructured data. Now, these textual data come from various sources. A very big source is the online reviews and the feedbacks, which I've been telling you about. Second is the news feeds. Third is social media like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Gmail or LinkedIn and whatnot. Next, we have a lot of online material, a lot of online textual material in the form of docs, in the form of PDFs. So all these, they form unstructured textual data. Now, up till now, these sources of data were virtually untapped because we did not have the means to analyze them, right? But now with the advent of big data technologies like Hadoop, we we can very easily fetch, store, and process these kinds of data. And these kinds of data sources being unlikely, they if we can properly squeeze the and extract the value from them, that value is almost like it's invaluable basically, right? So this is why text analytics has taken such predominance in today's world. Now let's see how you can do a text analytics on a particular topic. Now, usually what organizations do is that they focus on a particular business problem. They identify a particular problem, saying that, for example, if a company is getting a lot of complaints about their delivery system, say, so what they will do is that they will collate all these feedback and all these things, all the reviews and everything, and they will try to ascertain the reason behind why the delivery system is failing, right? So that is step one. Step one is to identify what the business problem is. The second step is identifying the source of data. Now, once you identify your problem, you need to know where to look for. Now, if you have a if you are trying to analyze the financial statements of a particular company, then you need to look into the 10K 10Q filings of those companies and not the social media response of those companies, right? So that's what I'm saying. So once you have the business problem set, you need to know exactly from where you have to source that data. Step three comes as the data collection. Now, data collection can be made in a number of ways. Now, many websites, many social media websites, they have their own APIs from which you can use to extract data or collect data from them. In case you don't have an API available for a particular source, you can very well create a web crawler. The web crawler will go and fetch all textual data from a particular website, right? Now, after you have collected the data, what do you need to do? You need to prepare the data, right? You need to prepare and process the data. Now, a very important aspect of data preparation is the cleaning of the data. Now, in a particular text data, there are many words, many sentences, many symbols which you don't need, right? There are particular any kind of English sentence, they'll consist of vowels, consonants, they'll consist of verbs, then articles and so on. So you don't need all of them to analyze the to reach your analysis, right? You don't need articles, you don't need to analyze how many A's are there, how many the and all these things are there in a sentence. Those are the elements which we call noise and which we need to filter out. So during data cleaning and parsing, what we do is that we filter out the unwanted data, we filter out the noise, and we are left with whatever actual valid data, actual valid textual data that we need for the analysis, right? So after cleaning the data, we tokenize the text. By tokenization, what I mean is that we break the text down to buckets. Now the buckets can be a one-word bucket, two-word buckets, or three-word buckets, and so on. Now the reason for tokenizing of text is that so that we can understand how many of these words or word clusters are present, right? Now, why do we need that? I'll come to it in a bit. After we have tokenized the text, we apply analytics. Now, text analytics can come in various forms. You can do sentiment analysis, you can do a positive negative analysis, or you can simply create a word cloud out of term frequency and TF-IDF, right? Now, after you apply your analysis techniques to the data, then comes your interpretation of the results. Now you have got your the end product. Now you need to interpret it, right? So now a few of these steps might not be as clear to you right now. Now let's move on to the next slide, wherein I'll walk you through the steps of text analytics and how we applied them to the case study that we had seen in episode 1. Now in episode 1, just a recap of what we had done. We had uh, worked on a analysis to study the customer reactions after the release of Samsung Galaxy Note 7 and after the release of Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. And we had seen that the Note 7's debacle had seriously undermined Samsung as a company. And however, after the release of GS8 and S8 Plus, Samsung had actually gained more customers' trust, right? So what we did, let's come to the first step of the text analytics. First step being identification of the business problem. Now the business problem over here was that Samsung had lost a huge market share after the debacle of the Note 7. Now we wanted to know, after the release of S8 and S8 Plus, has Samsung regained the customer's trust or not? This was the business problem, right? Second was the identification of the source of data. Now we wanted to know what the customers were feeling. Now, customers, they voice their expressions mostly in social media. So we so we decided that we will go for social media as a data source, and we chose Twitter as one of our data sources from social media. That completes the second point, data is source identification. Third point is the data collection. Now, Twitter has an API which we used to collect all the relevant tweets regarding Galaxy Note 7 and GS8 and S8 Plus, right? Therein, we completed three steps. The fourth step being data preparation and processing. What we did over here is that after we collected all the tweets for Note 7 and S8 and S8 Plus, we cleaned the tweets. We removed any kind of numbers. We removed any kinds of spaces, any special symbols. We removed articles, conjunctions, and verbs, and all these kinds of words. And we were left with mostly the adjectives and nouns, which were and the adjectives and nouns, and the adjectives were describing the nouns, right? So basically, we were left with the words which were describing the handsets, Note 7 and S8 and S8 Plus. After that, we tokenized the data. Uh, we tokenized the data. We tokenized it into single buckets of words. And after that, what we found is that after that, we created a word cloud, and the more the words which were appearing most number of times in our tokenized text, those were coming up in bigger fonts, as you might remember, right? So this is the purpose of tokenizing the data. Next, we applied sentiment analysis. What we did is we had a list of words which we categorized as positive, which we had a list of words which we had categorized as negative. Now we compared the text buckets that we had with the positive list and the negative lists, and tried to ascertain how many out of the total uh, list of words that we had, how many were actually positive, how many were actually negative. That is in on a high level term, that is what we did for our sentiment analysis. And the last step, the interpretation of the results. Now, as we had showed you in the first episode, we had concluded that Samsung had actually come out of the rut which was created after the debacle of Note 7, and now customers are warmer towards, or more favorably poised towards the company Samsung after the release of S8 and S8 Plus, right? So these are the steps which we followed to do a proper text analytics project on Samsung Note 7 versus Samsung GS8 and GS8 Plus, right? Now let's see what usually are the outcomes of text analytics. Now, after we perform text analytics, what can we infer? We can very well infer how customers are feeling towards your company, as we just saw in the case of Samsung. We can see do if the customers like the brand as a whole, the company as a whole, or not. What kinds of topics, what kind of things are being talked spoken about your customer? What are the areas that you are already doing well in? What are the areas that you can improve? All these kinds of information we can gather after doing text analytics. And also, what is the most important thing that is being spoken about your company? What is the least important thing that is being spoken out of about your company? All these kinds of insights can be drawn from a simple project of text analytics. Hence, as I was telling you before, textual data is actually a gold mine on which companies are sitting at the moment, and they are using this gold mine to draw very deep insights which was erstwhile was not being done, right? Now, what are the benefits of doing a text analytics? Now, text analytics is pretty simple to do. It does not require building of any kind of model. It simply is a program which you can keep on running, keep on feeding new data, keep on running the same program, and it will give you new insights every time you run. Even if your business problem changes, you can keep the your program, your model simple, and it will keep on delivering it. with the same similar kinds of insights. It's broad, as I just told you. You can use the same program across multiple business problems, and it also gives a boost to your other efforts, other analytical efforts. So in case you are getting very good insights out of your text analytics, that way you can leverage that kind of knowledge in other segments, say your marketing or sales or any kind of segment that you want to focus on. So briefly, text analytics is a wonderful tool in the hands of the right person, and the kind of insight that you can draw out of text, a particular project of text analytics, are unbelievable, right? So here we end our third episode, wherein we have covered, till now we have shown you, in the first episode we have shown you a case study. In the second episode we have told you what the case study was about, and the third episode we have told you we have explained to you text analytics on a whole. Now next, we will see another set of episodes wherein we will discuss how to segment our data. We have a large data set. Say, for example, a company has a very huge customer base. And it is, say, for example, a mobile company. Again, since we were talking about Samsung, let's say Apple. Apple is going to release two. It recently released two phones, right? The iPhone 8 and the iPhone X. Along now, you will, as a CEO of Apple, you will want to know, or as a marketing head of Apple, you will wish to know what kind of customers you want to target. Say your customer base consists of, say, 2 million people. You can't go and promote your product to each and every person out of the 2 million, right? That will increase your cost. You need to know exactly which person you need to promote your product to, so that he or she, there will be at least a good chance that he or she will come back and buy your product, right? So that is a small example of customer segmentation. Now, we will see in our next episode, we will see a case study, and we will see what data segmentation or data clustering is. Till then, hope you have a nice time. Enjoy. Have a good day. This is Aritra Banerjee signing off.